What has two legs, bleeds, and seems like they can never shut their mouths? Half of a dog. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. I thought long and hard about that joke, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I got another video for you today, but real quick, if this is your first time watching the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. And if everybody would do me a favor and follow me on Instagram, it's let's_do-it-up, LETS_DOITUP. And if you'd like to send a knife or knives into the channel for review, just send me an email at letsdiu79@gmail.com, letsdiu79@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, I will send you my shipping address. You can send me the knife or knives. I will spend a week or two with them, review them, and send them back to you. I would appreciate any support of the channel that anybody would like to give. Real quick, before I start the video, I wanted to let you guys know that later on I'm going to be doing a video on my other channel. I did change the name. The name of the new channel is Question Everything. I'll put the link for that channel in the description for this video. If you would like to check that out. Excuse me. But I'm going to be doing my first video on that channel tonight. It's taken me a while to get my studio set up to where I want it, just because I'm going to be doing front-facing videos on that channel, and I wanted it to look like it had some production value to it, so that anybody would be interested in watching it. If you do want to go and watch that tonight, I'm going to be doing a video kind of breaking down and commenting on a video from Tom McDonald that he released not that long ago on a video called The Machine. It's a song that kind of hit me like a brick wall, and it made me really think about the state of the world today. So if you guys would like to come over there, take a look at that. I was going to do it on a live, but just so I could talk with you guys about it, but I wasn't sure how many people would be interested in going. So I'm just going to do the video and then upload it. So I hope you guys enjoy that if you go to take a look. Again, I'll leave my link in the description for my other channel on this video, so if you want to check that out, do not hesitate. But today we're doing a quick review on the WE Knives Arsenal. This is a knife that I'm okay with. I wouldn't say that I love it, wouldn't say that I hate it. It's a pretty good knife. It's got a little bit of a high price tag. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's do it up, y'all. Let's get a measurement of this guy. Overall, this guy is, take a look at my chart. 8.59 inches with a 3.56 inch blade, a cutting edge of 3.5 inches, and a handle length of 5.3 inches. Size comparisons compared to the Rat Model 1. I believe the Rat was just a little bit shorter than this guy, but I could be wrong. Well, depends. If you're looking at the entire knife without the glass breaker on the Arsenal is just about the same length, but with the glass breaker, I'd say it's like maybe 1/10 of an inch longer. And the Rat Model 2 obviously is going to be quite a bit shorter than the Arsenal. Next up is the Ritter Hogue RSK MK1G2, Doug Ritter's answer to the Benchmade Griptilian. Fantastic knife. That one is just a little bit shorter than the Arsenal. And let's see here. Yeah, the 80-20.5, I almost called it the Rat 1, I don't know why. The 80-20.5 is just a little bit shorter than the Arsenal, as you can see. Last but not least, we have the SPYDERCO knives. Paramilitary 2 is obviously going to be just a little bit shorter than the Arsenal. And the Para 3 obviously is going to be quite a bit shorter than the Arsenal. The carry profile for this guy compared to the Paramilitary, the Para 3. Let's look at the thickness real quick. Thickness on this guy, it's just a hair thicker, I'd say, than the Para 3. And the height on this guy, you're going to see, is nowhere near as bad. Well, I wouldn't say bad, just is nowhere near as tall as the Para 3, as you can see. So the carry profile isn't too bad on this guy. Excuse me. I think we'll get a weight on this guy now just for fun. This thing out of the way. Turn that on. Pounds and ounces. Nice. Okay. I believe this is pretty lightweight knife, 3.9 inches. I thought it was 3.5. The 3.9 apparently is how much this knife weighs. Yeah, that looks good. And we'll get a blade stock thickness. Can I get a thickness? Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, 124 thousandths of an inch. I'd say probably closer to 125, but I digress. I don't think my caliper is absolutely perfect, but the Wee Arsenal. This is kind of a tough one for me. It's got a lot of good stuff. It's got a lot of bad stuff. Well, I don't know about bad stuff, just stuff that I'm not interested in. One of them being the price, but let's go over the dimensions and all this stuff. I'm sorry, not the dimensions, but the materials. You have a 20 CV blade here. I'm going to call this a modified Tanto with a flat grind. This is not a compound ground blade, so that's flat on the flat and flat on the Tanto there as well. You've got a flat that carries out to about 80% the length of the blade. You've got some holes cut in there, fullers, whatever you want to call them. They are not functional. You cannot use these to operate the blade. I don't find that to be a huge deal, but I just, if they're going to be there, I like for them to either be usable or just kind of like be so small that it would be, you know, comical that you would be able to use them. You know, having this kind of in-between thing just bugs me. I don't know why. You do have a swedge up here, which comes out almost all the way. I'd say about 95% the length of the blade here. Excuse me. I got the flat edge already, swedge and fuller. So the pivot, this guy is running on bearings. I don't like the action on these bearings. It's still pretty tough. I know this guy's had this for a while. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, a buddy of mine gave this to me at work and said that I could do a review on this knife. I brought it home a little while ago. I just gave you guys my first impressions on it, and now I am doing the review. So, as I said, I know this is on bearings, and the D10 is fantastic. I think the D10 is set up absolutely perfectly. The action is great on it. The problem is with it being on bearings, it's still kind of, I wouldn't say it operates like a Chris Reeve, but it just, it's not super duper tight. It's pretty consistent, but it doesn't really, you know, it takes a little bit more work than I would expect for a knife like this to be on bearings, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A nice little pivot here, pivot back, whatever you want to call it, and a pivot collar here made out of green G10. You've got another G10 pivot collar on the back side, and then the pivot screw there. You have an integral piece of G10 that kind of goes over the two sides of the scale here and then screws into the handle scales, making this kind of an integral looking knife, which is pretty cool in my opinion. You've got the relief cuts here on the lock bar. There is a steel lock bar insert in there. Looks like you've got a little bit of jimping here on the lock bar to give you good access to that. There is a little bit of milling down further on the show side to give you access to that lock bar. And it looks like this guy is locking up at about, I think I put like 40%, I think it was. Yeah, 40%. So that's not too bad there. Good access to the lock bar, like I said. It's a little bit tight going back down into the handle. Not a big deal, not a big deal at all. It's just a little bugaboo of mine. I can't believe I just said bugaboo, I'm sorry. The spine of the blade does have a little bit of jimping. You've got some jimping here for when you're kind of holding the blade in the standard fashion. I don't know if they intend for you to choke up more with this knife. It doesn't look like they do because there's not much of a choil there, but you can access that jimping up here when your hand is as big as mine is, which I don't think anybody would have any trouble doing it. It's just a lot easier for me because my hands are gigantic and huge. There is no blade play left, right, up, or down, and we'll see if the blade is centered here. Yes, it is. Blade is centered. Small glass breaker here on the back of the knife that connects the pocket clip, which is probably my biggest pet peeve with this knife. It is titanium, but they made it look like a standard stamped steel clip that you would get on like a $5 or $10 Walmart knife. This is ugly. It's gross. I don't like it. The flipper does have a little bit of jimping on it here in the front, and the flipper action is superb. I really like I said, I love the detent on this knife. It's got a really good detent to it. Lockup is fantastic. Disengagement is almost effortless. Don't have to work much to get that lock bar to the side. And as you can see, the action isn't terrible. It's just a little tighter than I would like it to be. For a Wee knife, I would say that this is pretty close to their quality. It's nothing on it is terrible. Nothing on it is a deal breaker for me, except maybe that pocket clip. But I digress. The issue for me is definitely the price. The only place I can find this is on Knife Center. And Knife Center is selling it for $209 for this particular version. And then there's another version on sale on the site for $250. I didn't really pay that much attention to what was different about that knife, but I see this as kind of like $180, $185 max. So for them to, be charging this much money for this knife still after all this time, they released it quite a while ago, and I think it was priced even higher. I think it was close to $300 when they released it. And it did have some traction, but it didn't go over very well. So eventually started dropping the prices, and I just feel like they need to go another 30 or 40 bucks to make this knife worth it, in my opinion. This is not a knife that it doesn't blow my skirt up enough for me to want to buy this either way, no matter, even if it was $150 or $140. It's a cool knife. It's nice, and I like it. It's just not something that I would intentionally put into my collection, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but if that makes any sense. Sorry, I forgot to point out here, there is a little bit of milling on this titanium on the show side, just to kind of match up with the lines that are cut into the scales here for the G10, and then there's a little more milling back here on the G10 so that you can, to give it a little bit more of an aesthetic pop to it. It's got some holes drilled there. I'll give you a better look at the pocket clip just in case you wanted to see that. There's the pocket clip, and there's the back placer, the glass breaker. There's the pivot. Here is the show side pivot. And this is the knife when it's open. See that jimping there on the lock bar. And yeah, there you go. I don't know that I have much else to say about this knife, guys. I mean, I do enjoy it. I've used it for a few things, just cutting open packages, cutting boxes, nothing super duper aggressive or anything like that. The action is good. It carries well in the pocket. The pocket clip works fine. I just don't like the way that it looks. As I said, you can't use this fuller, which bugs me a little bit. But overall, I think it's a good knife. I think if you decide to purchase this knife to keep it with you for the rest of your life, I think you'll be happy with the purchase, because I think it'll last you that long if you take care of it. I think that's the best thing that I can say about this knife at this point. Everybody out in the knife community should be aware that if a knife is worth whatever it costs to you, then it's worth what it's worth to you. So, nobody else should have anything to say about that. But I think that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you already know what to do. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And stay up, weirdos. Take it easy. Bye.